you are a guardian of that land, and it is important to just take care of that soil that has been there for way, way, way before you and is going to be there way, way, way after you.
This episode is proudly brought to you by Mapper Forward's workshop. It's time to become a coffee consultant. Learn how to diversify your revenue streams and create freedom from your day job while saying goodbye to that alarm clock forever by becoming a consultant within the coffee industry or directly to consumers who have shifted towards home brewing and home roasting. Protect your income from challenging times in the coffee value chain by taking this course today. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for details. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 2 of a 5-part series with Komal Sable from South India Coffee Co. And we're talking about the future of coffee in India. This has been a very stressful year with regards to climate and the things that coffee producers have to adapt to in India. And South India Coffee Co. has been focusing on low intervention coffee species. Now, Komal, help people understand what that means.
Okay, so low intervention basically just means that you're lazy and you don't want to do anything, which is us.
That's awesome.
But in all fairness, it's more like it's getting more difficult to find people to work on the farms.
Yeah.
It's getting more expensive to do that. And there are, of course, you're going to have your pests and diseases when you have coffee or any agricultural product that is being commercialized or being farmed in a large scale. So our plan, or what we think could be done is, try hands-off farming. And the reason we came up with this was because we have seen a species called Excelsa, which is almost, it's been growing on our farm for the past, I think, 3 generations now. Akshay's grandfather planted it, I believe. And we've just been taking care of it. So one day we were sitting and we were looking at these plants, and this is coffee that is growing around the boundaries of the farm. And we just realized that, hey, we don't do anything to it. We don't really take care of it as much. We don't prune it or, give it fertilizer or give it any water. It just is doing whatever it is while all the other operations for Arabica and Robusta are going on. So that is where we kind of started thinking about, let's look at low intervention coffee species. Now, just to step back, there are 130 coffee species in the world at this point of time. And we are talking about Arabica and Robusta, which are 2. When we look at low intervention, what we are looking at is see what is being grown natively in your area. Now, coffee, everybody would say, oh, India, it was not grown in India. Coffee was not grown in India. It came from somewhere. Yes, I agree. Arabica came from somewhere. But this is information from a lot of my old books that I have. Pre-continental drift, we have had coffee growing natively to India.
Really?
Yes. So during the continental shift, we found there are around 7 different coffee species in India which are native to India. Of them, I can name Whiteana, Bengalensis, Travancorensis. Travancorensis is something that has grown around here or in the belts of where we are and right up till Vietnam, I believe. This information, so think about coffees that were just growing, right? We didn't do anything to it. We didn't really give it a lot of love and care, essentially. And they just grew. So this is what we were thinking about. Why don't we look at stuff that is native that grows easily and is already adapted to these conditions instead of making it more difficult to grow coffee. Now, Arabica and Robusta have now acclimatized in India because we've been growing it for a really long time. How about we look at species or just coffee in general that is acclimatized, and let's see whether we can do things to it without a lot of intervention. So again, low intervention just means trying to do less and putting in less effort.
And getting the same
You're
result
not-
or better.
to give the same or a medium result. So for us, it's all about not 100%. It is about being in the middle where you can get an average yield year on year. Instead of
Okay.
saying, I want my land to give me 100% every year. You cannot expect that from your land. It is not fair.
Why isn't it
Because-
fair? Is it okay if you expand on that a little bit? Because in the kind of before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about this, and I was really fascinated with what you had to say.
Because you cannot expect the land. Do you work 100% every single day? No. You cannot expect the soil or your land to do that for you. Please understand that, we cannot expect 100% yield or something that is coming from your land every single year because it is taking a toll on that land. You are a guardian of that land, and it is important to just take care of that soil that has been there for way, way, way before you and is going to be there way, way, way after you.
And so it needs to rest, it needs to be fed, it needs to recover, it needs all of those things in order to be able to give you its best when it is time to grow coffee.
Absolutely. And also give it rest, give it nutrition, give it everything that it needs, and understand that we also, I think, with agriculture, we all expect it to be, we want the most out of the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think is not fair. If we ask for an average or a medium yield year on year, the plants are going to be healthier, they are going to survive longer, and you're going to be able to take care of them for a longer time instead of saying, I want this plant to work 100% every single year.
Just like with people, you'll end up with burnout. I suspect it works the same way, right? If you keep taking and taking and taking and taking without giving and replenishing.
Exactly. I think
go ahead.
It's a matter of kind of so again, with low intervention, what we are saying is let's look at whether we can get a medium yield with minimal to less effort. And that's where the Excelsa comes into play, where we have, which kind of snowballed. It all started with Excelsa because we were not doing anything to it, because we were not giving it any love, care, attention, and it gave us a medium yield every single year.
So it was stable.
Yeah.
Which seems like a luxury in the current, right? In the current volatility that we're experiencing across the entire supply chain, but let's talk specifically for coffee producers with all the volatility that's being experienced globally in coffee production. Stability seems like a luxury that everybody's increasingly going to be looking for. And what it sounds like you're saying is that these low intervention coffees not only give you that stability, but they give you that stability while solving a couple of other problems that are existing for coffee producers. Am I reading that right?
Yes. I mean, I cannot say that all low intervention coffee species. We have done research at the moment, or we are researching on the other species. But at this point of time, we have seen Excelsa give us a medium yield year on year. It actually does have a higher tolerance to temperature. It can work in very high rainfall or in very high temperature. So when I told you it was 38 degrees, all plants were suffering. actually the Excelsa and the Arabicas were the only ones who were all right and they could manage.
Wow.
One, the was okay because it had the shade, and Excelsa because it can tolerate higher temperatures. Second is because the Excelsa has a very deep taproot. It goes deep inside the soil to search for nutrition, water, and sustenance.
And is it a water thief? Like, does it steal water from
No.
No, does it require as much water as Robusta?
No, that's the whole point, right? Like it's a deep tap root, so it will go if you don't have enough water on the surface, it will
It
go
will
deep
find
down
it somewhere else. Okay.
And also it has a very interesting cup. You have tasted
That's
it.
my next question. Yeah, help people understand. I enjoyed it. Some people say that Excelsa for me is one of those ones that divides people. It has, in my experience. Describe to people what the cup's like.
So the cup is very interesting. This year we've done like 3 very different processes. One was an 84-hour ferment with an custom yeast culture. And then we did one which was just an anaerobic natural. And then one we did was just a straight out natural, no fermentations, no excess fermentations or anything of that sort. And all 3 have had a very interesting, the one thing that links all 3 of them is the basic sweetness of that coffee. The coffee is just super sweet. And I have had this conversation with a few other people saying that this coffee is a great bridge for people to start in the specialty journey. It is very low in acidity. It is not so if you of course if you do like a super crazy ferment, it is going to be a bit boozy and a bit more fermenty. But if you look at the coffee itself, it is fruity, it is sweet, low in acidity. So just imagine pulling a nice espresso shot out of it and giving it to somebody who is used to drinking maybe an instant or even like not one of the specialty coffees, like a commercial grade coffee. These guys are going to be like, oh, wow, this is not bitter. It is sweet and it is fruity. What's there not to like? It's not one of those coffees that your mouth is going to be like super sour and your mouth goes into like a lemon. You just eaten a lemon kind of a thing.
You have just described the silver bullet for the Middle East market. That's exactly what this market wants. They don't like acidity. They like it fruity, and they like it, not too boozy. That's exactly what this market wants, and it struggles to find it.
I mean with the Excelsas, you've had very interesting kind of people asking for it, and we've got very interesting feedback from it right from the year we started. I've had people call it cowboy coffee and coffee tastes like rubber. And I mean, over the years, we have definitely made processing better and we have made the coffee turn out very interesting. But the intrinsic value of that coffee is sweet and fruity. And I think whatever you do to it, you cannot remove that.
I can't imagine that that's not going to be in high demand all over the world. I think that that's the entry level for sure, but I also think that a lot of specialty coffee drinkers really like sweet and fruity.
It's been very popular.
I'm sure it has. Talk to me about how prolific it is. Is there a lot of Excelsa available?
So no, there isn't a lot of Excelsa available. In India, we have most of the, just to go back a little, there is Excelsa and Liberica. At the moment, it is in the same, Excelsa is a subspecies of Liberica.
Okay.
But they are they are 2 different cup profiles. Even the bean looks very different. So talking about Excelsa, a lot of the Excelsa is grown around our region or in Coorg is mostly Excelsa. And then in Kerala, you have Liberica growing. It is a very small percentage in India. We don't have it's essentially grown as boundary coffees around the farm. So of course you don't have like a big volume of it. However, in the other parts of Asia, I think people are growing a good amount of Liberica and Excelsa.
And is there a barrier to entry to get more of it grown? If there's a market, and we're going to talk about the market, creating a market for it in the next episode, but growing it, is there a barrier to making that happen if we can create a market for it?
There is the only barrier to that is it's not as fast growing as an Arabica Robusta. It will take around 5 years to grow. That is the barrier. Other than that, I don't think so there is any barrier as such. Yeah.
And what about pricing? So are people actually, let's talk about that in the next episode. In the next episode, we are going to talk about these kind of low intervention coffees, as we've discussed in this episode, could be one of the solutions that helps us figure out how to adapt to the changes in climate and how to adapt to how to reduce the volatility in our industry moving forward. But if we don't have a market that's going to buy it, it means nothing. All we're doing is wishing and praying and hoping. So join us for the next episode, folks. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, friends. Please don't forget to show us some love by subscribing, liking, commenting, and most of all, sharing this podcast with your friends. Check the show notes for links, including our sponsors and our Patreon. And stay tuned for more great conversations on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward.